want to cover about defending myself with only one arm, because now I become someone that is approachable if they want to steal something off of me or take, you know, whatever I might be holding. I become a victim, I become a prey, and that is something I want to avoid for myself. Hey everyone, Scott with Air Gunner Reviews. So I just wanted to give you a little update on my health. I've had a shoulder operation and it went pretty well, except I learned that I do not have a rotator cuff left to repair. I fell back in February and I couldn't even lift up any higher than this with my left arm going out this way. I could barely do this, and the only type of motion I had was with my elbow here, and I had to keep my elbow kind of in. So if that looks familiar to you, most likely you've torn your rotator cuff yourself. But this is probably the worst that most doctors have seen. And unfortunately for me, it cannot be repaired. So basically my surgery detailed taking the long head bicep tendon that used to be attached up to here. It was stuck down here in the intermedial groove, I think it's called. So they had to kind of fish it out, and they drilled a hole and they put it into my shoulder. That's what I understand. They also took a ton of arthritis out. I had a subacromial, I believe it's called. Space was quite low, so I really kind of close together, so I believe they opened that space up, so possibly I'll have more range of motion. The timeline is quite lengthy. I am in this brace for 6 weeks in the brace. Meanwhile, I'm going to have 3 months of rehab on it twice a week, which does not include any type of weight. It's just getting some range of motion back. And then another 3 to 6 months of adding some tension. And it's going to be a long drawn out 6 months before I will actually know if I can take some weight and put it up over my head like I've been used to doing. So there was nothing for them to stretch back on. It was torn off. So I have no idea. I suspect, because of what I do for a living, we have an upholstery shop attached to our house, but we also do window treatments. That means most of my work is up over my head, installing shades, blinds. So this happens to be our kind of our work room, and these are boxes right here. These have all shades in them that I would normally be putting up myself, but now I have to have I can't even say a helper, somebody who can do it for me. I'll be on the job site, but that's about it. These right here are all motorized shades going into one house. And again, this is why it's kind of devastating. These are all the brackets inside here that have to be hung. And then back over here, these are all other shades in these boxes that eventually have to be put up. And over here, the second thing that I do a lot of is upholstery. I happen to do these seat cushions before. This is a customer seat cushions. I happen to reupholster those right before I went into surgery. These are a couple more that have to be done. And yes, we do all the sewing right here. And so I just wanted to cover that part. Now I want to cover about defending myself with only one arm. A lot of people have talked about the pepper blaster. A lot of good people have talked about it, but I want to talk about it again because I think it's such an important tool. And I happen to have it on me, and I'm going to be having it on me, and I'm going to have it in 2 locations. One, right on my hip, so I can quickly pull it out and shoot it. The distance is 13 feet, comes at you at 112 feet per second. And it's a gel that hits your face, and if you try to wipe it off, it makes it even worse. I've seen all types of videos on that. Matter of fact, I'll share a couple little. Oh no, I'm not.
Give me the hose, man.
That was by far one of the worst experiences of my entire life.
Stop! Stop! Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Wow. That's bad. That's bad. Did you get some? Oh yeah.
I got some too.
Alright, well there's a bad problem because they promote the fact that here's my milk. I can't see.
Really is an amazing tool, and of course I can put it right back in, and it's something that, you know, as good as you may be at self-defense and having something on you, if you have a jacket on, then again, getting to something like this is even going to be harder. And that is why I keep one in my jacket too. Now I have two. I have the Pepper Blaster 2 and the Pepper Blaster 3. I want to go over both of them. I'm also leaving links down below if you'd like to purchase it on Amazon. There are a few places that you can't have it. California is one of them. New York State. New York State's iffy about these things. You can in certain locations, but Amazon will not sell it to you because they are iffy about them. Now, I also want to talk about another, which is the self-defense sprays such as this. I think these things suck. Personally, I think they suck. If you have it rolling around in your pocket and you're trying to reach for it and you're grabbing it and you're, you know, and then finally you reach it, by then it could be over. It takes less than a second for somebody to get to you from 10 to 12 feet away. So you want to be prepared, and I don't think these things really have it where you're really prepared for it. So that is why I carry this, and even in my pocket, when I have it inside my coat pocket, which I do keep one in there, it's easy enough to identify where the handle is. And that's why I like to carry that. There's nothing faster than being able to pull it out. And when you have it in a holster, you notice where my finger is, right where the trigger. Now this does have a trigger guard normally on here. I have removed that trigger guard. And if you have good trigger discipline, you do not need that, but it does interfere, as far as I'm concerned, it interferes with putting my finger in here. Also, this has like an 8-pound trigger pull, so you're not gonna pull it without some effort. So I just want to come out with that. Other than that, let's go over the Pepper Blaster 3 just a little bit. They are very close in what they look like. And if I were you, if you have the Pepper Blaster 2, don't bother with the Pepper Blaster 3. It's basically the same thing. The only thing is they changed some of the grip, but it looks the same pretty much. So when you look at it, they put a little extra groove in this one, this one's a little bit plainer, just very cosmetic. The other thing that they did is when you look at the sights, you can tell that the gray one has more prominent sights in there. Not a huge factor. So that in itself shouldn't play a role. Also, this one has a clip on there. I think this clip is useless because there's nothing holding it back from coming off, like there's not like an indentation in here. So if you were to put this on your belt or on something and it gets hit on a table, I'm sorry you can't see that, but if you hit it on the table, you hit anything, it's going to come right off of that. So I would not think that's great. Also, the location of it is on here. Most people, so I'm not too sure why they would put it on this side of, and they're all the same way, because most people are right-handed. I happen to be left-handed, and that's another point. My left hand now, you know, that's usually my shooting arm, of course, and now I can't use it at all for that. So I have to rely on my right, and that's why something like the Pepper Blaster comes in so much handier. But the first thing I can do is I'm going to take that clip off because unless you're concealed carrying your right hand, that's not going to do you any good. possibly maybe in a pocketbook, on like a divider in a pocketbook where you can hit that on there. The other part about using these is they don't fail. And you'll find with something like this, you have to be careful with these because these are an aerosol, so they do go flat over time if you're not shaking them every once in a while too. So the last thing you want to do is have to grab one of these, spray it, and it goes down, and then you're done. So that's another good reason to carry this. And of course, a lot of our less lethal, we're talking about CO2. And we know that CO2 guns or launchers are not as, they can be very trustworthy, but we know that they have seal issues sometimes. And you can't keep them in the cold, and you can't keep them in really, if you're in like Texas and you leave it in your car, that could also be a problem because they're temperature related, obviously. Too much cold, no good. Too much heat, no good. Something like this does not have that. I think they have some type of, I'm not sure what it is. I wouldn't say it's gunpowder, but it is some type of ignition in these. So it is not receptible to heat or cold. And so far, I haven't seen anything bad about these. I think these are an awesome investment. And instead of purchasing something really expensive, especially these days, for $59 or $60, whatever they are, and they're not made in China, so that means it's not going to be affected by the tariffs that are coming. And so, again, I think those are all important things. And I'm going to keep you posted every couple weeks on my progress with my shoulder. I'm hoping once again that I'm going to be able to lift it up over that, even though I don't have any type of rotator cuff left. But wish me luck, guys. And thanks again. I really appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate your subscribing and sticking with me. This is really a difficult time, but I'm glad I have you guys with me. You take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.